In the 3C notes, we talk about writing equations of lines. When you do that, you need to recognize what kind of form that you're going to be writing it in. Standard form is one where the variables are both on one side of the equal sign and the constants on the other. And then the coefficients of the variables, A and B, are integers. So that means you can't leave fractions or decimals in your answer. Slope-intercept form is one that you often use to graph equations and will sometimes also be asked to leave it in slope-intercept form. So we have y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept, 0b. Also useful for graphing or writing equations of lines, so often used for writing equations of lines. When you're given a point and the slope, up here you're given the slope and the y-intercept. So here you're given the slope and a point. You can use this form, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. The slope is m and x1, y1 is a point on the line. Horizontal lines, remember, were written in the form y equals c. The slope is 0 and all y values are equal to whatever c is right there. And I just wrote this in HOI. Remember, the H stands for horizontal lines. 0 stands for the 0 stands for the zero slope, and y is a reminder that the equation is going to be y equals to a number. And then vertical lines are x equals to some number. On these, the slope is undefined always, and all x values are c. So, whatever c is, that's what x is always equal to. And then we have vux, V-U-X, as a reminder. So V for vertical lines, U for the undefined slope, and X because it's an x equal to equation. So for problems 1 and 2, we're going to write the equation of each line in slope-intercept form. So that means that we want to look at our graph, find what the y-intercept is. So you can see it's crossing the y-axis at 0. So we're going to say that b is equal to 0. And the slope we'll have to count. So remember, slope is rise over run. So this one's going down 1 and then to the right 2. So we're going to say that our slope is equal to negative 1 over 2. So down 1, right 2. So the equation of our line is going to be y is equal to negative 1/2 x, well, plus nothing. So I'm not going to write anything there. I'm just going to circle it right there instead of writing the 0. 2, on this one, our y-intercept is 1 to negative 3. Our slope, and you notice there's points in here, here, and here. So we're going to use those points. It's going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's up 4 and then over 2. And I guess we could have also used this one. It would be 2 over 1. So when I did that, I got 4 over 2, which is the same as 2 over 1 or 2. So our slope is 2. So the equation of the line then would be y equals 2x minus 3. So again, this was asked for in slope-intercept form. 3 and 4 says write the equation of each line in point-slope form. So if you notice here, this is drawn so that you can't really see the intercept, so we can't use the slope-intercept form, but we are given 2 points. And so we can choose either one of them. This first one here has 1, 2, 3, negative 1. So I could use either 3, negative 1 for my slope, or I could use here 2, negative 3. It does not matter which one of those points I use. I need to count my slope. That's the easiest way to find it. I could subtract and use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, but it's easier to count. This is up 2 to the right 1, so this slope is 2. So m is equal to 2. And in point slope form, we're going to do y minus, I'll use the top one. So minus a negative 1 would be plus 1 is equal to 2 times x minus 3. So make sure if you write, you shouldn't probably write them both down, but if you do, make sure you use the same point for both your x and your y for that. You could have also written for that answer, the second one, y minus a minus would be plus 3 is equal to 2 times x minus 2. If I simplified, or if I changed either one of these to point slope, they would be the same. If I changed both of them to point slope, they would end up being the same thing. 4 over here, again, same thing. I'm going to need to do the slope. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, down 3 and over 1. So we have a slope of negative 3 over 1, which is negative 3. And we can again choose either point. I'm just going to write one of them down this time. I have a 2, 1 for a point. So I'm going to do y minus 1 equals negative 3 times x minus 2 for my answer. And if it's asking for it in point slope form, it needs to look like this. All right, so then flip over to that next side, flip over the page, and there's some practices that I want you to do here. So it's this whole page right there.